So then you want to adopt best practices and compliance to legal and industry regulations, right? So whatever HIPAA says you need to do by best practices, you should be checking for at least that stuff, plus probably a lot more. Just adhering to PCI will not keep you safe. Most people know this. Most people set up the controls to adhere to the rules instead of security. And there's two very separate trains of thought. And the protections that they put in place are completely disparately different. So adhering, security for checkboxing a set of requirements is one thing. Security for security is a completely separate thing. You'll see that when you're conducting your tests. So for testing and validating the efficiency of security protection and controls, again, we're seeing this over and over and over. We want to tickle those controls and make sure that they're going off, that they're reporting properly. Did everyone see this happening? And then for changing and upgrading existing infrastructure or software, hardware, or network design. So if you're going to change something, you might want to do a follow-up test. Instead of a full-blown test, maybe you just had one done earlier in the year and you can say, hey, Johnny, I know you guys just did that test for us. Can you come back and do a follow-on? We had some upgrades. And it might be cheaper. It might be cheaper instead of redoing a whole entire test. You've already got a relationship with them. They've already got information on you, stuff like that. You can give them the information that they gave you in the report, and they can just go back and hit the highlights. It can be very cost effective. And then you want to focus on high severity vulnerabilities and emphasize application level security issues to development teams and management. So we're testing firewalls, we're testing infrastructure, load balancers, this kind of thing. And then we're actually testing applications as well. A lot of times the request may be only to test an application. We don't care about our infrastructure. We test that all the time. We know what the security posture is for that. Just test our application. So you may need the proper tools for that application. Like there's programs like out there that are open source you can do, like built with. What is this application built with? So you can stick this tool on it, you feed it the URL, and it'll go and analyze it and tell you it's using PHP, it's using this version, it's using a Maria database, whatever it is, it'll tell you what the network stack is, the full stack, as much as it can detect about the application. So you can glean a lot of information with built with, BUILT, gives you a lot of information. That's just one example. There are many out there. So you go and evaluate the application, you figure out what's weak about it. Say, this thing's really susceptible to SQL injection. I suggest you put a WAF in front of it, a web application firewall, to filter out any SQL injection attacks until you can fix it in the software itself, which is typically a major change. Then you want to provide a comprehensive approach of preparation steps that can be taken to prevent upcoming exploitation. Hey, this is exploitable. Here's the solution. Usually you're just going to copy and paste the solution that you found with the vulnerability, right? Evaluate the efficiency of network security devices such as firewalls, routers, and web servers. Evaluate the efficiency of network security devices such as firewalls, routers, and web servers. And then we want to compare security audit, vulnerability assessments, and penetration testing. So what is the difference between the three, okay? A security audit. A security audit just checks whether the organization is following a set of standard policies and procedures. A security audit. If I were you and someone says, hey, I want you to conduct a security audit, you need to go through the definition with them, because a lot of people get these mixed up all the time. So make sure you're clear about this with the customer before you jump in. A vulnerability assessment. A vulnerability assessment focuses on discovering the vulnerabilities in the information system, but provides no indications of the vulnerabilities that can be exploited or the amount of damage that may result from the successful exploitation of the vulnerability. You won't know that anyway. They know their own servers, so you're going to have to work with them to figure out what are the impacts of a successful exploit. Unless you're doing the exploitation yourself, which is the penetration test, right? And the penetration testing is a methodological approach to security assessments that encompasses the security audit and vulnerability assessment and demonstrate if the vulnerabilities in a system can be successfully exploited by attackers and what's available to them in the event the system was exploited. So there you go. That's it, soup to nuts. So this is a good security assessment. May comprise all of this stuff, or it may comprise only two parts. So you need to get clear definitions of what the client expectations are when you go to conduct a pen test. Or if you're going to order one, these are things that the assessor should be asking you.